All right, so we have EHL Commissioner here, Neil. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate you coming on. So we'll jump right into it for our viewers here. So why don't we start with what the EHL is all about and what the overall mission is here with the EHL?
Yeah, so the EHL, we are a pay-to-play junior hockey league. I will say we used to be a part of USA Hockey, so you would call us independent now. We govern ourselves. And really our main goal is to develop players for the next level in their respective careers, right? And for the majority of those players, it's to play college hockey. And over 10 plus years, we've managed to put over 1,700 kids into college hockey programs. And then, of course, after college hockey, it's getting these players ready for the next step of their lives, right, in their careers. And we take a lot of pride in how we help these young men when they come into our league leave as better people both on and off the ice, so that when they do graduate from college, they have a great foundation to start their working lives.
Okay, awesome. And you mentioned unsanctioned hockey. So why was the switch made to go to unsanctioned? And what does that mean for the player exactly, for those who aren't familiar with that term?
Yeah, so obviously leaving a big name like USA Hockey brings a lot of questions, right? But when it came to what we were doing with USA Hockey, is they put us really into a box of who we were supposed to be, and we wanted to change things, right? So when you're in USA Hockey, you have to play by USA Hockey rules. We wanted to play by NCAA hockey rules because that's where we're sending our kids to play NCAA hockey. So we should be able to play by the rules that they're going to have to play by when they get to college, right? Obviously, there are differences in that we can wear half shields and you can't in college, and vice versa and stuff like that. But, being able to play by the rules that we wanted to play by and what these kids are going to be playing by in the future was really the foundation of what we were looking for. And other little things along the way have helped us just, run, as a business more efficiently. And honestly, it increased our player pool. More and more kids since the, breakup, if you want to call it that, from USA Hockey, have been more interested in the EHL than before. And it's helped lead to more kids going off to college, which ultimately goes back to what our mission is, and that's putting kids into the next level of their respective careers.
Okay, awesome stuff. I think the next proper question that might be a good follow-up is, what separates the EHL from other Tier 3 leagues? Because there's a bunch of Tier 3 leagues out there. I have my really high opinion for EHL as a Tier 3 league, but what separates the EHL from other leagues?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, because part of why we left USA Hockey is that everyone wants to call us Tier 3, and everyone probably still will for a while, right? But we don't call ourselves Tier 3. We just call ourselves the Eastern Hockey League. And when it comes to what we do, we put kids in college hockey programs. And I think, this is my 9th season in the league. Next year will be my 10th, and the league's been around since 2013. We've never really wavered about who we are, right? We've never been chasing something more than we actually are. So we've focused on what we do best, and that's putting kids into Division 3 college hockey programs. To play D1 is really hard, and to play D3 is pretty damn hard also, right? So we're not, if the player is good enough to play D1, by all means we're going to help get them there. But we've never tried to not be who we are, knowing that 9 out of 10 are going to go play Division 3, or more than that, I should say, really. And we've never wavered from that, and I think the college coaches have appreciated that from us, because it's just allowed us to make our relationships that much stronger with all the Division 3 programs.
What about the EHLP? What would you say is the main differentiator between the EHL, EHLP? How does that all kind of work?
Yeah, so the EHLP kind of has like a soft spot in my heart, because the first year of the EHLP was the 3rd year of the EHL, but it was also my first year. So for my entire time in this league, I've always known the EHLP. And the EHLP essentially is a chance to dip your toe into junior hockey right out of high school. It's for kids that haven't played at this speed or at this size ever before, right? And maybe they're not ready to leave home quite yet, right? So more kids that are in the EHLP are still living at home and going to their local high school, and just, instead of playing for their local high school, playing for our junior teams, right? So it's definitely the younger division, and the majority of the players that are in the EHLP, their next step is the EHL, and then off to college hockey. But on rare occasions, you get this year's EHLP MVP, who is skipping the EHL next year and going straight to college hockey, right? So it's a great story for us with him. Like I said, the majority of those kids do take that next step to the EHL, but we love that pipeline, right? The perfect player for us is the kid that goes 1 year EHLP, 1 year EHL, on to NCAA hockey.
Yep. You said you've been involved with the league for almost 10 10 years now. What would you say in the past like 5 or even 10 years, if you want to go in that time frame, what has the EHL improved on in that time frame?
Yeah, like I think we've just gotten stronger about who we are, right? I think early on we actually probably had more Division I commitments than we do now, and a lot of the reason behind that was the NAHL East didn't exist at that time, right? So a lot of those kids that maybe were on that D1 level were still staying here with our league because they didn't want to go play out in the Midwest, North Dakotas, you name it, of the NA. Obviously, the NA East comes around. Some of those D1 kids are now playing for NA East teams, but it's just allowed us to continue to focus on what we are and what we do so well, and that's putting kids in Division III schools. And over the years, seeing the way that we've adjusted our showcase dates or changed this or changed that, always with the players in mind to make sure that they have the maximum number of eyeballs on them, has helped really just strengthen who we are. And every year we spend so much time like really focusing on our showcase dates just to make sure that they all are efficient and run well and do their purpose, bring college coaches in to get these kids committed.
What are some other developments or ideas or new things that the AHL is going to be doing in the next 5 years, you think?
Yeah, so I mean, one thing that's actually come up in the last few years here is we have our All-Star College Series where we actually play against NCAA college hockey programs. The first year that we did it was back in the 2017-18 season. If it wasn't for a combined 60 saves between our two goalies that night, I don't know if the thing keeps going. But it took off from there, right? We played one school that year in UMass Boston. We played 2 the next year. We played 3 the year after. And then you fast forward to this, most recent season that we're currently in, and we had 6 college hockey games this past year. So our Northeast divisions, North and East, combined for an all-star team that faced off against 2 NCAA hockey programs. Our South Central divisions did the same thing. And then we had what we called our main all-star team that played 2 games as well. Fortunately enough, we've now won 3 of those games. It's not about winning and losing for those, though. We want to just be competitive. But I think winning does prove that we belong, right? These college hockey programs want to recruit our players, and this proves that they're ready for that next step. So it's really an event that means so much to me. And now it's like, how can we just take that to the next level, right? Because the fact that we have 6 schools that we played against last year, and only one of them is already rescheduled to face us next year. The other 5 are brand new. The year after, 6 more. The year after, 6 more. Because ultimately, like I said, that's what the customers, our players are most focused on, is going to college hockey, and to be able to bring these all-star teams onto these NCAA campuses, and they tour and play a game, and it leads to even more commitments. Again, it's just who we are, and we're going to keep making it bigger and better.
Awesome. And you mentioned the Frozen Finals at Providence College. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I don't know, you probably can't see it, but right behind me on the TV, I have Game 3 on of one of our division finals right now. Winner of that game goes to the Frozen Finals next week. It's an event that also started, frankly enough, in that 2017-18 season. We had noticed up until then that when it gets to be 2 teams left in the finals, no one's really paying attention except for those 2 teams, right? So I've always grown up a huge college hockey fan, and people love the Frozen Four, right? So this is our version of the Frozen Four, and we're going back to Providence for the 6th time this year. There was a COVID hiccup in the middle of that, but it's our Frozen Four. 4 teams from the EHL go, 4 teams from the EHLP go. Parents fly in from all over the country. They've already been emailing me, texting me, got our flights booked, got our hotels booked, can't wait for next week, hoping our team still makes it, right? But they want to have that plan in place. It's really the marquee event of the year. It's the pinnacle that everyone's trying to reach. And I think what's helped make it so special is when you get there, and obviously only 2 teams are crowned champions, one EHL, one EHLP, you hear all the other players that are eligible to return talk about making it back to Providence next season. And it's really made it a special event, and it brings the whole year together, right? From the scheduling meeting through all the showcases in the college series up until the finals and handing off that trophy. It's like, all right, now the long-term project is officially done. So we're jazzed up. We're only a few days away.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like an exciting event for sure. Yeah. Maybe a couple questions here to finish off for more the parents and the players, just to have a bit more information. What does the EHL look for? Like, what kind of players does the EHL want to have in their league?
Yeah, the EHL wants, the dedicated individual that, has an idea of what they want in the next step in their life, right? And we're going to help them get there, right? If going to college may not be an option if it wasn't for hockey. We're going to help that player academically as well get on the level that they need to get onto so that they can get into a respective school that they want and go off to college, right? And then we love to find those players that, you know, have aspirations for what they want to do in their life afterwards too, right? I mean, we all love hockey. We all want to play in the NHL, but at some point hockey does come to an end, right? And we're looking to grow young men and make sure that they're ready to take on the real world. You know, when they turn 24, 25, 26, and they're out of college officially and they're ready to get that job. You know, not to go off on too much of a big story here, but we have our own league podcast and we did all these alumni interviews in the second half of the season. And it was crazy for me to interview a former top forward in our league who went and played 4 years at Wesleyan University, one of the best academic institutions in the country, right? He's now living in New York City, working in finance, and his roommate is a player who was on a different team in the EHL. Like, it's just like, it's kind of a pinch me thing, right? Like, that's a kid who's from California, who found our league, committed to our league, and now is living with a team that was his biggest rival when he was in the EHL. But they went to college together, and now they're working, you know, in downtown Manhattan together. Like, it's just that's ultimately exactly who we are. And those kids, their lives are going to be better because of the EHL, truthfully.
Yeah, hockey's a small world for sure. A bit more of a technical question. I don't know if you have the stats in front of you, but how many NCAA D3 commits does the EHL have per year? And I know it's a high number, but if you don't have the numbers on you, it's okay. But just if you do, it'd be cool to share with the parents.
Yeah, so I mean, really, the target in my mind is 150 per year, right? Once we get to 150, that's like, all right, that's a normal year for us. We've reached as high as over 180 this season. For those that are wondering, it is a little bit of a slower pace, but there's been a lot of factors that go into that. There's the transfer portal that's created this trickle-down effect that, you know, nobody can really handle right now in NCAA, where everyone is looking kind of internally as opposed to externally in NCAA. Obviously, with the COVID situation that took place as well, a lot of players are using that 5th year of eligibility, so they're staying for 1 year longer. But we'll still be in the 125 range this year, and I think what we pride ourselves on with that is when you look at our rosters and when you check on one team and you go down the right side, you're going to see that we're over 5, 6, 7 commitments per team, right? That's what we're going for the most, is our ratio per team. We want every team to be somewhere in that 5 to 10 range, and sending over, you know, a third of their roster basically to college hockey. Of course, we have a few programs that get over 15 plus, and yeah, maybe they help steer the ship a little bit for us, which is awesome for them, right? But everyone from top to bottom, whether you're in first place or you're in last place, they're doing their best to get 7, 8 kids off to college every year, and that's really the main goal for these players.
Yeah, and it's what's nice about the EHL is that yes, every team wants to win, but the primary focus is for a program to advance players to NCAA D3 and to college altogether. So
exactly.
That's what I really like about the league. Last quick question I have for you is, what's the cost to play in the league? I know it varies by team, but what's the overall cost? What do parents, expect to pay with billeting and everything?
Yeah, so I mean, start first with just the straight tuition. Say you were a commuting player that was fortunate enough to live in a location where the team was right there and you can live at home. You're probably looking somewhere from $9,000 to $10,000 for the season play for those respective teams, right? When you add in billeting, I would say it doesn't get much higher than an extra $500 per month for that housing cost. Obviously, you're paying that, and the host family where your player is living is providing all the meals for the players, so it's $500 to live and to eat, really. Each team is different, though, because some teams have more travel, and some teams are in more remote locations than others, right? So we have some teams that have more billet families than others, and we have others that have more apartments than other teams, right? But for the most part, you're in the $9,000 to $10,000 range to play junior hockey, and then $500 a month or so to live and eat.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Neil, I won't take up much more of your time. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me.
If you like this type of content, click here or here to keep watching. Destroy that like button, hit that subscribe button, and click the link in the description below if you have any questions for us. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you on that next one.